there's a preparation couple of months before we get to that spring market where the buyers are learning, the agents are relearning, all right, what kind of market is this going to be? And I think you're right. I think March, April, early May is always, late March to early May is your best 60 days to sell. And I think that's always the case every year.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to our show. Shawn, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about home buyer demand as we enter now February, and things are just increasing in competition, even as mortgage interest rates are inching upwards ever so slightly.
True.
We're also going to be talking on a local level, the East Falls Church Metro station. Some things happening there. And I'd love to get Shawn's thoughts on that. And then in or out, whether Shawn Battle is in or out on a property in Northern Virginia, 5 minutes from Old Town, single family detached livable house for under $400,000.
That's insane.
No, you're not being deceived right now. So stay tuned for that. Shawn, let's start with an article from CNBC. Homebuyer demand pushes mortgage applications higher even as interest rates inch up. So here's the deal. Published Wednesday, January 24th. Applications this week were increased by 8% compared to last week, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association seasonally adjusted indexed. Demand, however, was still 18% lower than the same week 1 year ago when rates were lower. As if to say, recently, demand has increased, still not at the same pace it was last year, but of course, when we're comparing last year, we're comparing to lower rates. So, Shawn, what are your thoughts as you're seeing that even as interest rates peak up towards 6.75, 6.8, that applications are still on the rise?
Yeah, it's time to buy, baby. I mean, you can read any article out there that you want to, and some are saying the market's great, some are saying that the market doom and gloom. You click into those articles, some might be talking about commercial, so you got to be careful, and some are talking about the residential. But this is the time, January, everybody starts, think about your New Year's resolutions, your time. You're like, what am I doing? What's my goal in 2024? I'm going to buy a house. So the first thing they do is run in and do a mortgage application, because that's the first step you should be taking when you purchase a house, is make sure you know what you can afford to purchase. So what we see is early January. January is the time when the people are out there. They'll go to open houses. They'll start shopping. They're getting their mortgage application ready and down and getting prepared for the spring market. So naturally, we're always going to see this uptick. The fact that we're seeing more and more as interest rates are still, ticking up a little bit is positive, because I think people are fed up. They're like, all right, well, this is the area we're living in now. We're in the mid sixes, and I gotta move on with my life. I can't sit here and rent for the rest of my life, or I can't stay in this house that I've hated for the last 2 years, right? So people are actually going to start doing their work. So you'll see that January is a lot of, you'll see a lot of showings. You'll see a lot of open house traffic. And you'll see some offers, maybe multiple offers here and there. But as we start progressing into that spring, we're going to see a lot more people ready and purchasing. We're going to see a lot more listings coming on, hopefully. But the name of the game right now is inventory. It doesn't matter where you're looking. There is nothing out there. We look in Arlington every week. You and I go over numbers. We talk about, how many single families are for sale, how many this. Every mark is down. And it's at the lowest every year in January. And it's really low compared to what it's been. Now, we've been doing this a long time, so we've seen absolutely no inventory. There's a little bit more than absolutely no inventory, but it doesn't matter where you look. It doesn't matter who you talk to. What's the conversation? There's no inventory. I was on the phone with this agent this morning. I'm looking at properties in Ocean Pines down in, near Ocean City. And I'm like, I have a search set up. I'm watching. Nothing is popping up. It's either the low level stuff that no one wants or the high level stuff that I can't afford, right? Where's that middle ground of, the price point. And so I called this agent and I was like, hey, I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit and see what's going on. She's like, yeah, there's just no inventory. There's nothing popping up. We're less than normal, right? And so I think that's going to be the music of 2024 is, again, low inventory. I believe that the buyers are ready. They're there. And we've seen that over the last couple of weeks with the amount of showings that some of these people are getting and the amount of contracts that people are writing.
Well, there's an interesting takeaway that I have, Shawn, as we're looking at this graph of mortgage interest rates. We're at about 6.6 as of, last week. It's just a little bit higher, but you look back to when it was last at 6.6, maybe that was around February, April, May of 2022. But what happened after it went to 6.6? It went to 7.6, and then it went to 8. But now it's coming down. Now the curve is coming down. And so what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling from buyers out there is a renewed sense of confidence. Because when it's 6.6 and it's going up, and it was 5.6, a couple months previous, you're thinking 6.6 is terrible. This is horrible. I can't buy a house. But now that we saw it hit 8 and it come back down to 6.6, people are feeling more confident. And don't let me fool you into thinking that this is going to be a podcast about two real estate agents telling you to buy a house, right? Because it's not. But you shouldn't buy a house because of the interest rate.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't not be a factor either.
Yeah.
So, but in addition, you also mentioned there's no house in Ocean Pines, none of the good ones. I mean, if you had a good one, wouldn't you be waiting until March? Wouldn't you be waiting until April?
Yeah, well, that's always the question. And I think we talked about this at our last meeting is like, when do you actually put the property on the market? When is the best time? And historically, if you look, the data's there. Early April is always the best month to sell. Every time it's the best month. So what we were saying is like, now if you're putting the property on the market in January, February, March, you're kind of the test dummy, right? You're the tester to see where the market is. And a lot of those people that have just done applications aren't quite ready to pull the trigger because they're really they're shopping. They're trying to figure things out. And once they actually see a property and say, oh, well, that one just sold with 5 offers. Now the next one that comes up is like, all right, now I know what I'm doing. And now you're going to be in competition and you're more prepared. So there's a preparation couple of months before we get to that spring market where the buyers are learning, the agents are relearning, all right, what kind of market is this going to be? And I think you're right. I think March, April, early May is always, late March to early May is your best 60 days to sell. And I think that's always the case every year, pretty much.
Are we going to run out of buyers, as if to say, if you don't get your property on until June or July, are you going to see a much different market than what you could have seen in March or April?
Well, again, it depends on inventory, but yeah, I think it always is a different market in July and August. It is every year. From what I see, August is the time. You have to think about what people are thinking, what people are doing, what are their habits. In August, everybody's gone. There's no one around locally because they're at the beach. They're on vacation. They're enjoying the last, couple weeks of their summer vacation. So they're not as in tune as everybody is right now when it's New Year and everybody's like, this is my goal this year. I'm getting in and I'm going to do the application. So naturally, you're going to see a high applications in January, February. And then you're going to see that everybody jumping in the spring because that's when most of the places are listed. It's going to be frenzy and fury like it always is. And then you're going to hit June. It's going to slow down a little bit more. July is going to be even more slow. August is dead. Every year I'm like sitting in an open house in August. I'm like, why am I here? I should be gone.
Where are you going to be this August? And don't tell me sitting in an open house.
This August, I'm going to be in my new house in Ocean Pines.
Okay, there you go.
Probably on a boat. Yeah.
So you're going to buy it in April, May, June, July.
I might have to because you know what? There's just no inventory. So like, what am I supposed to do? I'm ready. I was calling agents today. I'm like, yo, what's the deal? Can you let me know if you have anything? So what am I doing as an agent, as a buyer myself? I'm calling agents and I'm saying, hey, do you have anything coming up? Hey, can you tell me? One thing I was asking, I was like, I'm not as familiar with the real estate market in that area, and I'm not as familiar with the contract in that area. And so what I did was I started doing my research now because I know that in the next 3 months, I want to be buying. I want to be buying now, but I have to start doing the research now, just like all these buyers, right? So what am I doing? I'm downloading the disclosures on the listing to see what those disclosures are, because Maryland Coastal Association of Realtors is completely different than the Northern Virginia Association of Realtors. So I downloaded those last night and I started reading them. I'm like, okay, it's basically the same stuff, but reworded. And there are some different things that you got to know. So then today, called the agent, learned that inventory is tight, learned that they're still doing appraisal, finance, and contingencies here and there. You know, you're still seeing that. Now, competition might not be as fierce as here, but you have to learn. And so I'll equate it to me being a buyer and us representing buyers. You have to do your due diligence to find out how you're going to write and, prepare.
One call to Stacy Allwine, you'll know everything you need to know about Ocean City.
I know. Well,
She's the
I actually
expert.
did talk to Stacy Allwine as well. And she's like, yeah, Shawn, I'll help you, draft the contract or whatever you need to do. Because I'm like, do they still use the MAR contract? The Maryland contract, is it statewide? And it is. But what you have to understand is that when you're writing in a different jurisdiction, they'll have different addenda for that county. And so you have to get the local county addenda in order to know what you're talking about. So good thing is agents now upload those disclosures to their listing so that the buyer's agent can download them so they can prepare the offer correctly. So that's all I was doing, is trying to figure out what it was. But yeah, Stacy Allwine actually has a couple for sale down there in Ocean City. So she's a wealth of information, and we'll be talking, Stacy.
So you're going straight to the agent. Why not just go straight to the owner? Why not mail the owner? Why not go on? You are.
I've got
Talk
the
to me
plan.
about,
Yeah,
or
so-
is this confidential?
No, it's not confidential. I don't care. So I'm looking to buy a waterfront property on the bay in Ocean Pines. There's about 8,000 lots, but a lot fewer that are actually on the water. If you're looking at the map right now, that north side tends to get a little cheaper. And as you move down that curve, it gets more and more expensive. And then you get south of Route 90, it's more and more right there. That's where you want to be, because those properties right there are looking straight at Ocean City, and it's an easy access right across the bay.
Okay.
And those are bigger houses, bigger lots. So those tend to go for more. So I was just talking to my brother-in-law this morning, because he and I are buying together. I can't afford to do this myself. So we're going to buy together. And, our dream is to be down at that lower spot, because there's amenities down there, and it's bigger houses, bigger lots. And in turn, if we do want to rent it out, which we will on the weeks that we're not there, to supplement some of that payment, those are going to go for more money. So you got to think, all right, I'm buying a more expensive house, blah, blah, blah. So my plan.
What's your strategy?
Yeah.
Let's
my
get
strategy
to it.
is I took a picture of our family, right?
The old personal letter.
Personal letter. So I took a picture of my family and his family together, and that'll be the front of the postcard. And it'll say, our family is looking to purchase our first waterfront property that we want to use for generations, that kind of thing. Mail them directly to the owners. Now, I'm an agent, so I have to disclose that, hey, I'm an agent. I'm really looking to purchase your property, but it might not be a fit. But I have to disclose that I'm an agent as well.
Have you sent out the mailers?
I have not done that.
Okay. Which owners are you sending it to?
So what I'll do is I'm going to do a map search around that area. I will find properties that are probably likely within our price point. I'll probably look at ones that haven't sold in the last 2 years, and that have to be waterfront. And not only that, I probably won't go for certain areas that I don't really want. I shouldn't say that. I was going to say there's a water treatment plant in there, but there are some really nice houses near there, and I don't think it's a really big issue in that.
Are you going to do prop stream or just on the basic MLS? How are you going to sort these?
I'll do it probably multifunctionally. Like, I'll first look at the MLS. It's funny because if you want to do a narrowed search like that, and then you want to find out when they last purchased, it's hard to find that information. So you have to go. What are you saying?
Dude, I'm saying I could do it like on the show. I could do it
Okay.
like in 5 minutes. I'll do it after the show.
Okay, yeah. So I'll do it a couple different ways, but there's RPR that you can do it on, and there's the way I used to do it was Remine. Did you ever use Remine?
I loved Remine, and then it was like, oh,
It's gone.
I
Remine
guess
was the best because
were we the only two people using
I
it?
guess so. I don't know. You can still find it on
Okay.
NVAR's website.
Okay.
Yeah. But go ahead. How were you?
Anyways,
gonna do it?
so I'm talking with a dude I went to high school with,
Okay.
and it's kind of like a similar thing where he's like, hey, I want to go after a certain neighborhood. Let's include a picture of my family. It's a house that everyone wants, like Arlington, 3-4 bedrooms, like 2 full bathrooms, like nice lot. Good, what it's like, okay, this is going to be extremely difficult to find. And to his credit, he's like, well, what if we try this? And I'm like, this is actually a really good idea. So we went on to PropStream and we searched by criteria. I won't say all the criteria, but it was like valuation of the house between 700 and $1 million in this neighborhood. Person owns the property for at least 15 years, which may be a little aggressive in Ocean City. And then estimated equity of at least 55%. So as if to say that they have a lot of equity in their house. And then there might have been like 1 or 2 other, like at least 3 bedrooms, at least 2 full bathrooms. And we whittled it down to like 87 houses.
That's very good.
And I sent it to him. He's like, dude, this is amazing. Let's, let me figure something out from here. So what I'm saying after the show, dude, you punch in your criteria. I can give you like 50 houses. I'll send you the CSV and you can go off of that.
All right. Tell me about PropStream because I don't know what is PropStream.
Well,
Explain it to these.
So Jay Curry was telling us about PropStream. It's a fantastic website for real estate investors. You got to pay some money, but if you can buy a house and save tens of thousands of dollars, it's probably worth it. So you come in and has property tax records and you can literally search, all the property characteristics, all the area, all the value, all the mortgage information. It has all of that. It's almost weird because I sent over the Excel sheet to my guy, and on the columns, it's like there's like 26 different columns of valuations. You keep going over. And it's like, yeah, this person has like $2,000 left on the mortgage. This person has $25,000. Like, how does it know this? But
yeah, it's amazing.
Would definitely recommend PropStream as a way to directly target. Because if you're telling me you want to be in this neighborhood at this price point at this time frame, you get the CSV file together, you put together a mailer, and you're in business.
Yeah, and that's the way you do it. And whenever I target, like I send out mailers all the time in this area, and I'll tell you, direct mail works. It works. I've done it for decades. But you can curtail like who you want to send it to. And is it smart to send to somebody that just bought the house a year ago or 2 years ago?
You're wasting your money.
You're wasting your money. So you have to kind of pull it out. But sometimes I get lazy, I'm like, all right, I did this last year. I'm not going to, for me to go, it's so time consuming. So for me to spend, maybe $100 more, it's not worth my time. So I'll just spend the $100 more, but
after the show, remind me. I'll go through PropStream. Comment down below if you want like an overview of PropStream. It's pretty cool. Maybe if people are interested, we can check back in to see what the list shows.
Yeah, is this only available to real estate agents?
No,
that's everybody.
Just you got to have some money. You got to have a credit card.
Okay,
if you have a credit card,
so it's kind of like those Airbnb like things that you were. telling me about.
It's like AirDNA, but for rental properties.
So my brother-in-law actually joined AirDNA because we wanted to start looking at those kind of things. I told him about them. He's like, "You want me to join?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's start now." So AirDNA is that what
AirDNA.
So then you can look at the values of Airbnbs and what they're charging, and it changes all the time. So you change your price strategy, which is really smart, super smart.
What I liked about AirDNA is you could cancel and it was monthly. And so if I really liked the property, I would sign up for AirDNA, run all the analytics, and then if it worked out, great. If not, I'd like cancel the AirDNA. And then like 2 months later, like, all right, I really found a property. All right, let me, log back in AirDNA, pay some money, as opposed to having like a 12-month concurrent thing.
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing too. Is like there's everything. You know what drives me crazy now? Everything is a subscription. You can't just buy an app.
No,
right? You have to pay for it monthly. It's everything anymore, right? Like name it. They're doing a monthly subscription to it.
Put your email.
You're not going to own it.
No,
It's like my gosh.
Software.
Yes, absolutely. Anything. Like I used to own my accounting software. I no longer own that because you know what? They'll update it and they'll say, no, you know what? Now we're going to the subscription. So you pay X per year. You're paying for that. It's crazy. But hey, money, cash, cow.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk East Falls Church Metro, Shawn.
Okay.
Article in ARL Now plans to upgrade the East Falls Church bus loop move forward. Now, at the surface, pun intended, as we'll find out, this is probably the most boring article that we've ever looked at. Like, I'm looking at it like, why the heck do I care about a bus loop? Arlington County Board on Saturday approved a $500,000 agreement with Washington Metro Area Trans WMAT. Yeah, WMATA.
Yeah, you're right.
This part is a $12 million plan to provide the station with additional routes, expanded passenger capacity improvements, and parking and crosswalks, all the good stuff. And then, I scroll down in the comments, right? Because that's what you do on ARL.
course.
You got to scroll down in the comments. And someone said, it's adjacent to a metro station serving 2 lines. Why doesn't it have 20 stories of housing? So, Shawn, let me pull up a map of East Falls Church. So, here's the deal. It's in Arlington. It's a metro stop in Arlington, which actually it's above ground. It's above ground. Okay,
Crazy.
so Roslyn to Ballston, below ground. East Falls Church, above ground metro. You're kind of, hemmed in here between Washington Boulevard and 66. So this isn't going to be an argument of turning this into Ballston West, but more so a conversation about what's the best use of the space. Now, I love housing. I love density. I don't think, we should pave over Central Park in New York City and add apartments, as if to say housing isn't always the answer to everything. You still need to have like parks and services and openness and green space. But a surface parking lot in Arlington next to a metro station does not make sense. Shawn, I don't want or I don't think we need a 30-story high-rise building, not even a 20-story. But you want to talk about a massive opportunity. And I'm not the first one to think about this, right? People have been talking about plans for East Falls Church since maybe before I was born, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I hope we start to have a conversation about how underutilized the East Falls Church Metro station is. What are your thoughts on this?
You bring up an excellent point. Parking lots are the biggest waste of space, a waste of land that we have. Land is critical in Arlington. And, missing middle. Yeah, of course. Right. But like, this is a parking lot. This is a paved space and it's big, but why not have a parking garage on 1/4 of that? Build it up. All those parking spots, you can add more by just going up. And then the rest of it is housing, stores, revitalization, a new bus loop, whatever you want. But yeah, I think that it's completely underutilized. And just like we're seeing all over the place, how many metro stops have we seen added to all of these lines down in Old Town, out to Reston, out to Dulles, So there are so many new ways of doing this. And I think this is old school. This is old school and it needs to be redone. The other argument though, we've seen rideshare go down. So is it smart to invest in our stops right now? What do you think?
You talking about Metro rideshare?
Yeah, isn't Metro rideshare down for the most part because of the work-life relationship, right? So we've seen a lot of everybody's life has changed as far as how they're working. They don't have to go into work every day, so the rideshare, I believe, has gone down. I read an article not too long ago about that they were closing some stations, or there was talks about
there's
closing.
certainly talks of closing stations. Article from Greater Washington, February 2023. Metro ridership is on the rise, but revenue doesn't exactly reflect it. I wouldn't go as far as to say that Metro ridership is down. It might be down pre-pandemic along with everything else. And I'm not against necessarily parking either. This isn't let's take away everyone's cars, because I was looking down playing this silly geo-guessing game, which is
Dude,
wild.
Let's talk about that geo-guessing game.
We'll get to that in a minute, but I'm in Dumfries, and because I ended up losing that game. But there was a parking lot for as far as the eye can see, and I'm like, where in Northern Virginia, and Dumfries, but where in Northern Virginia is this? And it was like a Dumfries kiss and ride, or a Dumfries VRE station, whatever. It was people driving their car to park to take public transportation, which is what they're doing at East Falls Church, which I think is fantastic. And, you see it out in Vienna as well. And, West Falls Church has like a little, kiss and ride parking area as well. So it's not removing the parking spots. It's better utilizing I think you got to have something more than townhouses. And I would be fine. I mean, sure, a couple shops. I don't think we want to turn this into, a shopping district, right? I don't think that would make sense, but some sort of added density, because when we think about the worst metro stations in like the worst planned metro stations, I know Ballston was the end of the orange line for a very long time. But hey, we're getting to the point where the spotlight should be focused on East Falls Church. And while we're staring at this big piece of asphalt, what we really need to be looking at are all these single family, not in my backyarders that are throwing up a fit every time there's any sort of planning discussion about the East Falls Church metro parking.
Yeah, really? Are they? I mean,
yeah, they do not.
What is their thing? What do they do not want?
Change.
They don't want change.
They don't want. They want things to stay the same.
Okay, well here's
too much traffic, too much noise, too much congestion, too much.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is a very touchy subject, but this spot of land is already used for a certain purpose, right? This is where, I mean, missing middle and all that thing is like, what is the purpose of the land that you own? What is the purpose of the land of your neighbors? Blah, blah, blah. So changing that, this purpose is a parking lot for Metro. What we could do is utilize it better. Like, all right, the one downside of it is that it sides to 66. What's hard to do against a highway is create property that's actually going to sell quickly. So maybe what you do is you put the parking garage against 66, right? So that barriers the sound, the noise against it, right? And then you build, I mean, a small condo there is not going to kill traffic. It's going to be fine. You're right next to the metro. It's really good value. But that's me talking, right? I mean, maybe it will add more traffic, but they're right next to the metro, so it's convenient.
So we have, not to cut you off, we have this townhouse community right across the street.
Yeah.
These two houses, if I'm wrong in the comments, let me know.
Yeah.
They were holdouts. I believe they are on the missing middle EHO, opportunities for a sixplex or a fourplex or a duplex, anything except for 1,400 square foot ramblers across from an Arlington metro stop with a surface parking lot.
As they should be. I mean, when you think about EHO, I think of this exact plot of land, right? It's directly across from the metro stop. It is underutilized. Where I don't agree with EHO is in these settled neighborhoods that are out further, right? But this is directly across from the metro. It is underutilized. There's two tiny houses that are 900 square feet apiece, and they're one level, and there were holdouts. And so, yeah, it's a very, very valuable piece of land.
Well, I think you may be a rare breed in being against missing middle on some things and being for it on others, because usually you talk to these people that are for and against it, and you can't have any sort of pushback one way or the other.
I think that's the problem, is you've got to open your mind to either or. I mean, you have to have a middle ground, right? There has to be some development, and there has to be some, hey, I understand. So I understand both sides, right? I get it that people want to do this and they want to expand things, but there's places to do it and there's places not to do it. And in places like this, where you're directly across, where this kind of thing already exists, you have townhouses directly behind you. There's 2 plots of land that are single families that are surrounded by townhouses. That should be a townhouse development. And across from the metro station, where it's just a parking lot right now, that there's nothing going on except people parking, why not build a garage and create some vitalization to that area? It'll only add to value in those instances, in my opinion.
If I was in like a 3-story townhouse across from East Falls Church, I might get kind of ticked off if there was like a 20-story building. But if there's like a 10-story building, I mean, look at any metro station. And again, it's tough to compare apples to apples because East Falls Church is not Clarendon. It's never going to be Clarendon. It's never going to be Roslyn. It's not going to be Ballston, nor should it be. But if it could just be something more than it currently is.
Yeah.
So finally, Shawn, what are your thoughts on the name East Falls Church Metro?
I hate it, actually.
Yeah? You think it's a little like deceiving? You're like, East Falls Church, is this in Falls Church? No, it's in Arlington. And then people are like, oh, well, can you walk to the East Falls Church Metro from Falls Church? Not really. I mean, sure, technically, yes. Take the bike back, do what you got to do. But what are your thoughts on the name?
I don't particularly like it. Why don't we just have Falls Church Metro and then this one, which would be Like we have the West Falls Church, right? Like
Yeah.
So
what would you name this one? I'm putting you on the spot now.
Geez, I don't know. Let me think about that for 1 second. Matt, do you have an idea?
So I do,
does.
but it's a ripped off idea from another commenter.
Okay,
So
well, we can.
someone had mentioned West Arlington as a possibility.
Maybe not.
You don't like West Arlington?
No.
How about Langston Crossing, something like that?
Okay, but is it
still not doing it for
is
you?
it Langston? Okay.
I
What
don't know.
about like Sycamore?
Sycamore.
Sycamore's right there.
So I mean, you gotta have, like, if you're in Maryland and someone says Sycamore, you often
have to know where you are.
Sycamore needs to carry more weight than that.
Yeah.
So comment down below if you would change the East Falls Church Metro name. What would you change it to? I kind of like. I mean, can we make West Arlington a thing? Because you're in West Arlington, right? You're west of George Mason.
Yeah,
I think that's the dividing line. You think
this isn't my closest metro, so like you could, but yeah, you could say West Arlington. It's better than East Falls Church.
this isn't your closest metro? How far from the metro
closer.
are you?
I'm closer to Ballston.
Yeah,
Ballston. I'm within a mile. They say this is probably, how far is that?
that's like 1.8 or so.
1.8. And yeah, now go to Ballston. I'm
Okay,
like
yeah,
within a
that's
mile.
like 40 minutes away. Ballston. Yeah, you're like right next to Ballston. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
well, thoughts?
What's the neighborhood just to, like, if you go zoom right in, and what's that neighborhood right there? I mean, it's
just-
probably 12 different names for
Yeah.
it, but, you know?
Well,
like-
oh man, now you're testing me.
Yeah.
So it's just west of Westover, just north
Highland
of
Park.
just north of Madison. Yeah, Highland
Highland
Park.
Park.
Yeah, yeah. That's. I mean, there's like 100.
It's so
there's
small,
like
yeah.
100 houses in Highland Park.
But, you know, you take the local neighborhood. What's the park real close to it? You know?
Tuckahoe.
Tuckahoe.
You got
That could
Tuckahoe.
be
You got
Tuckahoe.
Bishop O'Connell nearby.
Yeah. What's this park right there? South.
You want
just
all the
south.
parks, huh?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think.
We're right along the bike path now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Tuckahoe could be cool.
Tuckahoe. Okay. Well, yeah. Comment down below if you would change the name. All right. Let's move on to in or out, Shawn. We're getting sidetracked here. So let me introduce you to a single family house it's almost inside the Beltway, but it's in Alexandria for $399,000, under $400,000.
Jeez.
3007 Elmwood Drive, 4 beds, 4 bedrooms,
How?
1 bathroom,
Wow.
$399. Remarkable location near transportation, shopping, and metro. Detached home with 4 bedrooms and 1 bath. The home is ready to make it your dream fully fenced in yard to the rear of the home. Parking in the driveway and plenty of street parking. Shawn, we're looking at this home and I'm not feeling disgusted. I'm not feeling like I need to take a bulldozer to it. What are your thoughts? Are you in or out?
Matt, can you go into its location for me? Is this like Bucknell Manor area up there? Yeah.
Bucknell Manor.
Just south of Old Town. Just for Route 1. Okay.
We're around here.
Ooh.
What did I say the
okay.
address was?
Let me
3007
see. Pull out a little bit. Yeah.
Elmwood Drive.
Let's just say that, I mean, this is impossible. Okay, so you're off
So
Telegraph?
you're
Is that Telegraph there?
very convenient to the Beltway.
Okay.
So convenient.
I know this
Like
little
it's
neighborhood.
almost in your backyard.
Sure. I mean, how can you pass up a single family, a lot, for $399,900? I mean, that's really difficult. Do we know the size of the lot?
What would this rent for?
I mean, it's got to rent for
So
more.
7,800 square feet.
I would purchase this. I mean,
But you can't build a new construction house because no one's going to buy it.
yeah.
The noise from the Beltway right there is significant.
I'd have to go look to see what it like. Can you go to the Google Street View and like, because there's trees there, right? There's trees.
There's not enough trees in the universe to stop that Beltway noise. You're right there.
You're right. All right, Elmwood. Yeah,
It's your front yard.
I've been up and down this neighborhood before. Can you go this way a little bit?
I
for
can
me?
go that way for
Yeah.
you.
Turn. Okay. Yeah.
So it's the cute little
You know
yellow
what?
house.
It's a cute
right
little
here.
yellow house. I mean, it's $400,000. I'm not buying there to live there. Right. Let's put it that way. But buying that
How about a rental?
for a little rental for $400,000. This area hasn't really popped in values, but it could be a really good rental.
How can you lose money on a $400,000?
There's no HOA.
Dare I
fee.
say move in ready? Maybe you do a couple things.
But think about it. You get it for $400,000, and I mean, maybe you get it for less. I don't know how long it's been on the market, but you put a little sweat equity. You make this cute. You can get a good return on this. I think it might be worth it, Matt.
So
yeah, I'm gonna buy. Yeah, I'm
you're
buying
in.
it. Yeah. I'm gonna have to put my money where my mouth is because it's literally down the street.
And didn't you say you were looking for a rental property?
I am. Yeah, I am. All right, let's run some numbers on this.
Okay.
Although my heart's in a different area right now, so my brother-in-law would kill me if I bought this. But
mess up your debt to income ratio a little bit.
Yeah, it would.
So Shawn, I'm also in. I'm not the biggest fan of the neighborhood, of the house, of the location, but it's hard to go wrong. You throw on some fresh paint, spruce up the kitchen a little bit, put it back on Zillow as a rental. The people out there that don't like landlords, that don't like investors, that don't like people that are trying to find opportunities to make a buck, not going to like, hearing me say that. But a house for $400,000, don't tell me there's no affordable housing in the Northern Virginia area.
There you go, man.
Don't tell me, you can't afford a house in the Northern Virginia area. Sure, it only has one bathroom. Sure, it's 900 square feet, but they're out there.
They're out there. And not only that, it's the size of, how many square feet is your condo?
1,200.
This is 900 square foot house, like 900 square feet. But if you think about it, look at the location of this thing. Yeah, it's against the Beltway, but you're just outside of Old Town Alexandria. Do you know how convenient that is? If you worked in Old Town, you're boom, boom, right there. Eisenhower, all those shops, restaurants. There's a metro station not too far away. For $400,000, I'm a buyer. Yeah,
such a unique opportunity. Let us know if you're in or out. And hey, if you want to see the property, my schedule's open.
Yeah.
So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And for Shawn and myself, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.